Xenocider is a brand new game that just came out for Dreamcast. It was released as a collector's edition, a steelbook, blue spine jewel case PAL version, and a standard US case with some beautiful artwork, actually done by Augustine Padilla. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that properly. Who's worked on Avengers, Transformers, Borderlands, and G.I. Joe. And he said he deliberately made it look like an X-Men wraparound cover from the 90s. It's all pencil line art, inks, and colors. Gorgeous. This is the version I ordered. Link in the description if you want to get a physical copy of your own. To start the game, you awaken some kind of Xara factory, and then go through cyborg programming in the form of a tutorial level to explain how to play and destroy planets. Entire civilizations.
Are we the baddies?
Not sure about the motivation. You seem to be getting your orders from some kind of computer, explaining the controls, and how to avoid the various level hazards that create a gauntlet of obstacles, including saw blades, pop-up roadblocks, spikes, and chasms. This level also explains and shows off your pods that travel with you, bringing extra guns, nukes, or shields. Now these can be upgraded between each level using Xenocoins to make this difficult journey a bit easier as the difficulty ramps up with each level. The variety in this game is an achievement in itself. It is massive how much is in this game. Each planet has its own backstory. It has its own inhabitants and hazards. And I really do love the added info given about each world provided while selecting your route through it. And the way each route is explained in detail, it feels like a separate mission. Kind of explaining the hazards that are coming up, the enemies that are going to be there, what you got to watch out for. It's just really cool. Even the way you traverse the terrain changes from level to level. There's a water planet where running on the ocean floor is slower with weighted steps and scuba gear. You got hoverboard stages, fast running, slogging through a swamp, or even flying a spaceship through space. I mean, it never feels repetitive and monotonous, which is pretty crazy for an arcade style game. Usually they get really repetitive. This one, because of all the passion put behind it from Retro Sumos, you can tell they enjoyed what they were doing. You can tell they really had fun making this with all of the added stuff that really didn't need to be, but is. Adding to all that, the aforementioned alternate routes that basically make every level into two separate levels that you can only choose one per playthrough. Some of the bosses in this game are pretty creative too, like King Hermit from the Water Planet, a giant hermit crab using a sunken pirate ship as his found shell, shooting stones out of this ship's cannon ports and swiping at you with his big claw with each cycle. And everything's dodgeable if you can start to remember the pattern. Like, nothing feels unfair. Now, as far as control, a smart move from Retro Sumos was to have the gun button work like an on-off switch. Pop on the auto fire, and now your thumb can concentrate on activating the pods once they've charged back up, and jumping over the various obstacles. Now, I mentioned this in my review of the Striker DC controller. Link in the description. The R and L triggers move you left and right, kind of in these on-rail lanes, but using the bumper R and L buttons on the Striker is such a great match with this, as they allow for a faster lane switching because of less travel. There's also simulation mode that is made to train you for flying stages, and you will need this training. I love how the computer talks shit on you when you die in this mode. Fucking asshole. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. The OST for this game knocks. I am a huge fan of John Carpenter, Com Truise, synthwave as a whole. This mix of that with an 80s dystopian sci-fi feel fits perfect. Add to that punchier symphonic electro bits, you have a great variety of music to push you forward as you advance through the levels. The quality of all these songs should be expected, as the soundtrack was created by Academy Award nominated composer-keyboardist Juanjo Martín, famous for his work in the Spanish pop band Efecto Mariposa, and most recent Colombian super hit act Morat. I probably didn't pronounce any of that correctly. I'm sorry. I tried so hard. Another note about the music is I love how it slowly builds up and matches the intensity and fits so well with each planet's main theme. Something you might not know about Chewy, the programmer behind Retro Sumos. He's actually the one that is responsible for AES for All, Neo for All, and Gens for All. emulators on the Dreamcast. He actually completely reprogrammed Pier Solar for the original Mega Drive code for Dreamcast and other HD platforms. Carlos was actually the original translator for that as well. Is this game worth 60 bucks? I already had a fully finished final revision version on my GDEMU, and I still paid full price for a copy of this game. Team of Carlos, Chewy, Juanjo, and Abel put so much into this disc that it will keep you playing for a very long time. Whether it's the multiple routes, of which there are 3, Route 1, the more difficult Route 2, actually has some pretty awesome platform. And the unlockable Maniac mode, which is an even more difficult 3rd route. Don't forget about the individual bosses to each level, matching its theme. And that also goes for the mini games to earn extra Xeno coins for upgrades. They're actually set in the level itself. And then there is Fantasyland, a 12 level long love letter to the game's main inspiration. The entire control scheme is different, and more closely matches Space Harrier. Even has some iconic enemies you might recognize. There are even achievements. I mean, look at these. The specificity of some of them reminds me of early Xbox 360 days. I mean, replay value. There's references to MDK, obviously Space Harrier, Space Invaders, Shinobi, like even just the way the gears operate the menu to the bullet casings coming out of the gun, and damn, Sakura's Realm. Yo, Sakura's Realm. It's like a weeaboo wet dream. Running through a cherry blossom pink, Japan-themed planet, dodging flying possessed Oni masks, katana-wielding bamboo shoots, blasting away a bunch of yokai. The level is dope, the game is dope, just buy it. Now Retro Sumos tells me this entire game was dedicated to Yu Suzuki. As quote, we feel no one deserves it more in the history of this field. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. I agree with you. And obviously there's more stuff and surprises that I'm not going to go into. I'm not trying to spoil the entire game. So really pick it up. It's phenomenal. Check out my Striker DC video. Here's a video YouTube thinks you'll dig. You guys are amazing. Thanks for watching. I love you. Bye.